Good morning. Today is Sunday, and that means it's time for another video. Today we are building some DIY moss farms with a total budget of 0. That's right, we're going to have some fun, and let's get started. We're going to grow some moss. We're not going to spend a dime. So I'm using some found materials that I happen to have laying around. And for our actual boxes, we're going to use the drawers from this stacking storage container. I've had this in the swamp shack for a while now, and it's been full of strange aquarium stuff, but we're going to clean it up and, plant some moss in here. Sadly, I have to throw away the storage tower thingy because it's very fragile. It's very old, so it won't work. But these drawers are fine. We'll use them. And we're just going to wipe them down, clean them out a little bit, nothing to it. I happen to have some natural lump charcoal laying around. This stuff is just burnt wood. Nothing fancy here, no lighter fluid or nothing like that. So it should be fine as our carbon element. We are essentially building some terrariums. So we're going to throw this in the very bottom. And I'm also going to use this to build like a water reservoir beneath the soil. So on top of the coal, we're going to put some of our non-biodegradable screen mesh. This is the same stuff I use in some of the ecospheres, and this piece came from a screen door that I built by hand a few years ago. On top of that mesh, we're going to use some black cow, just a little, along with some natural compost and leaf litter from our backyard. So I'm not going to get too complicated with this, you guys. Technically, these are terrariums, but we're not going to, shoot for the moon here. These aren't really for display. These are to grow moss. I want to get more into terrariums because I noticed that, you guys enjoy terrarium videos, and I do too. I've watched quite a few of them. I particularly enjoy the permanently sealed terrariums that can last for quite a long time. So I'm intrigued about that and curious what we might be able to do in the future. I have plans for this year. So consider this a test run of our terrarium method. Let's see if it works. These will be open containers, obviously, as they are meant to grow moss, and we'll be pulling moss out of here in the future. I'm going to throw a few pieces of lava rock in there just to help fill it out a little bit. But yeah, I want to, have these on hand. I want to have more moss available for when I need it. We want to do a crazy big project, or just throw together a jar aquarium. Some new idea comes to mind. We want to have more of our moss laying around. And this is perfect. I'm using the leaves to kind of stop some of the soil particles from falling down into the water. And I'm going to include some sandy clay soil from the oasis, as this was very similar to where I collected the moss. Now, I found most of this moss growing in various places, and I'm pretty happy about that. Once you get into this kind of hobby, you start to look for these things and you start to notice them more. We'll throw in our black cow along with our leaf litter and compost because I'm hoping the black cow will contain some useful microbes that may spread to the other elements in the soil layer. Now, this is, I believe, hypnum moss, but I've also seen it referred to as flat glaze moss, which is probably a different species. I struggle with identifying mosses. I can, tell you this is this one here because I know it from experience, but I can't tell you the Latin name or anything like that. Maybe you can help me. But we know this will grow underwater. It will grow emerged, submerged, pretty much anywhere there's a little bit of water and a little bit of light. And so I'm very happy with this. I happen to collect most of this from a small town in various parking lots and forgotten areas. We're going to build up our water layer. You guys may hear some wind or some crickets or something. I happen to be recording the voiceover outdoors in the middle of the night, and it's kind of fun. I hope that it sounds good. Please let me know what you think in the description. But we're going to build 3 of these boxes, and the second one is basically a copy of the first. I don't want to bore you, so we're kind of fast forward that one a little bit. I did happen to find a little bit of lichen laying on the ground as we were building this, so I'm going to throw it in there. It probably will not grow in here, but it might, couldn't hurt. A lot of people, a lot of the experts that I watch on YouTube, they don't like using materials from their backyard because, they want to soak their moss and all kinds of different stuff because they're worried about hitchhikers. All these little plants growing among the moss, that kind of stuff. But, this is bucket ponds, man. I love hitchhikers. Please, please give me hitchhikers. Give me some springtails, some ostracods. Ostracods. Give me some springtails. Give me some isopods. I'll take them. Throw in some ostracods too. Why not? Maybe we'll turn the water layer into a bladder snail aquarium of some kind. Maybe in a future video we'll do something like that. But yeah, I love hitchhikers, man. If some of these little plants decide to grow, if they want to survive in my setup, that's just, more friends. Nothing wrong with that. I am not a purist or perfectionist by any means, so I'm just happy to see what happens. That's where I get my joy. Now, this third moss box, I did happen to find this cool beetle in the charcoal, but this third box, I'm going to throw a couple pieces of marble in there just for fun, and it might help balance the pH of the water if that ever becomes important. I happen to find this unknown type of moss growing in my backyard. Thought maybe you guys can help me identify it, but we'll throw it in here and see if it'll grow in our project, and maybe we get some of it growing, we can play with it. I happen to find this particular type of moss near a dumpster in the middle of a small town. I'm not sure of the species of that one either, but we'll throw them in here. You'll notice that third box on the right, I left quite a bit of open space because I want those two unknown mosses to spread. I want to see what they can grow and if they'll work for us. So here we are, 2 days after setup. The boxes look decent, and I have fixed the white balance on the camera. That's right. I often complain about the videos looking yellow or brown, compared to what they actually look like in person, and I fixed it. So you're going to see a lot more greens and vibrant colors here on Bucket Ponds. Very happy about that. The moss looks good though, and I'm just excited, guys. Looking at the polidariums and stuff lately, I have been getting into a mossy mood. I want more moss laying around, and I have big ideas for cool projects we can use it for in the future. So here we are, 5 days after setup. I am using a 1000 lumen 5000K light bulb and an old office lamps here to light the system to grow the moss. Everything looks great in here. I consider this middle one to be the main moss farm. We got our backup here on the right, and we have our experimental one over here. I threw a little piece of Java moss in here, as well as a few other items that I happened to find today. The last day of the video, I didn't have time to incorporate them, but I did have to collect them. I just couldn't help it. But that unknown moss looks good. The other variety is growing as well, and things look great. Our little plants are living in here. They are growing. I can get some IDs on them in the future, but as it is, they're not hurting any. I'm just so happy, you guys. I love moss. There's just something about it, something about touching it, smelling it even. It has like a soft scent, at least this species does. But I'm so excited, so happy. Big shout out to our patrons, Clay Wise, Swan C, Jay, Jeff Kiesner, and Ashley Danielle. Thank you so much, guys. If you'd like to join them and get a shout out at the end of every video, please check out the Patreon linked below. You can donate any amount, or you can join as a free member. Either way, I am grateful for your support. Now, I happen to find this moss growing in the walls of the pit pond today, and I didn't have time to incorporate it into the build video, but it's beautiful. I can't wait to play with it, to grow some more, to see maybe if it'll grow underwater or, in our future projects. So you'll see this again in the future. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the comment section. I'll have a short video coming up soon showing the pit pond, and I'll have another video next Sunday. So have a great day. Let's go.